SharkyBreath.
He plays video games.
Hello. Whoa. How are you doing, Kim? You okay, Kim? Kim? Hello, welcome back to Disco Elysium. Kim is having a good time. I have no doubt of it. I finally noticed, in case anyone else had noticed this and was wondering when I would figure it out, remember how when I got rid of that one thought that raised my volition max, and I was like, well, at the very least, I've still got this other thought that raises my volition by one, just in case I need to put a point in it at some point. Yeah, that's not how it works. That other thought, Guillaume de Million, I think it was the one, it probably bases it off of what your base volition is, not your current volition. You don't get a +1 to just whatever you're at right now. That's not how it works. So apparently my volition is at the level it's going to be from now on, unless I, suit up for it or something like that. And that's probably fine. In any case, we're in the middle of an extended back and forth conversation between Claudia and did I pronounce her name right? I didn't even know. Claudia. Something like that. I know. I don't want to look at that. Between Claudia and Titus, essentially. So I feel like I have no reason to not do as much of this conversation as I can before everybody leaves for the night. Because I'm already, running several days behind on all this. It's day 4, and I'm only finally finding out, at least the story that people have for why this guy was murdered. And I do get the definite impression, okay, so what do I know here? I know that the man was shot in the mouth before he was hung. And it probably wasn't by Titus and his gang. I always keep pronouncing it Titus, like the mispronunciation of the protagonist of Final Fantasy X. That's definitely what I thought it was. It turns out it's Titus. That's completely unrelated. This guy's name is Titus. Anyway, Titus and his gang took advantage of that, I think, and strung him up. Definitely, he's a guy who, based on what I hear... Wow, I'm having a really hard time putting my thoughts together today. Sorry. Based on the account of his squad mate, which admittedly was conjuncted because I did not want to listen to his awful tale, they have become quite monstrous, it seems. And while Claudia didn't mind him so much herself, it seems that he was no exception, this guy who is dead. So I'm guessing they had this was to send a message, I assume, and they decided that he was a good target because they had a good reason to have killed him if that was a thing that they had done, although it does seem that they did not. I'm assuming they did not. Anyway, I don't know why I'm summarizing this all before just going and talking to Titus. Let's just talk to Titus, huh? I'm terribly sorry. I get distracted. I try to think things through.
Again.
It is.
What is it?
Same thing as last time. You keep lying to us is the thing. All right, so I talked to Claudia about the tape.
And?
Continue.
He tenses immediately. Chest tightens. Jaw sets. Ready for another blow.
Yeah, okay. I know I just went on a tangent, but this, right? They expected her to cooperate. They presumably talked to her and told her what they expected. They wanted to set this guy up for the fall. If they can convince me that they as a gang killed this man in a stroke of justice, then maybe they're hoping someone's hoping that will relieve tensions in this particular matter, perhaps? Number one, they can't all be held accountable by, just me and Kim, unless we really want to bring down the entire hammer on them. I don't know what they're planning on doing about the other mercenaries, but the fact that Claudia isn't playing ball, isn't backing up their story, is kind of throwing a whole bunch of wrenches in their works. Anyway, and nothing. She stands by what she said.
That fucking fucker. You're the worst cops in Revachol. I gave you gold on that tape.
What does that have to do with anything? He stares at his beer for 2 seconds intently, then turns to you. Okay, cool. So, yes, you gave us evidence that this man was probably kind of a bad man. Understood. What good does that do us? He's dead. And the person who you're saying that he raped says he didn't. Like, your story doesn't hold water, is what it comes down to. Continue.
You smell weakness. He's getting tired of the game he's been playing.
Clearly, yeah. Gold? It was just locker room talk. It's not evidence. It was dark stuff, but it didn't prove anything, and it didn't change her mind. Yeah, it was bad. Honestly, I expected it to have more effect. She pretty much laughed it off, Titus. Okay. So we can downplay what he presented us with. Because honestly, like, in terms of evaluating this guy's character, this tape does show him in a pretty negative light. But it doesn't prove what he wanted it to prove, because it doesn't change her testimony, you know? So we don't need to downplay the evidence. It was decent if it weren't for the fact that he's trying to prove something that's not true. And it was dark. It didn't change her mind, of course. You can try and take his side. I don't think he's going to appreciate it. And we can sort of make him more angry at Claudia than anything else. I'm going with number 2, I think. It was dark stuff, but it didn't prove anything. It didn't change her mind. Yeah.
Dark. Dark is when you start a goddamn death rock band. He said he'd rape her.
He certainly did say that. He shakes his head in disbelief. Continue.
What did she have to say then? Fine by her? This is what people are supposed to be like? Fucking whoop-de-doo.
She did not say whoop-de-doo. It did not come as a surprise to her, and she definitely wasn't scared. Actually, I think it made her a little nostalgic. If anything, she seemed turned on by the whole door gunning thing. You could look at it from that angle, but I think I'm going with the nostalgia thing, because that's what it seemed like.
Yes. In fact, I think she thought it was a little funny.
The lieutenant looks at you, then him. Yeah, pretty much. Continue.
Funny. No good goddamn psycho whore.
You are really not helping your own case at all, you know that. You need to learn to not say things sometimes. Titus mumbles, his lips barely moving. But mumbles loud enough where I didn't even have to make a perception check. Continue.
All right. All fucking righty then. I guess it's good then. That fucking...
He slams his giant fist on the doorframe. He's not even by the doorframe, but you just have to trust me on this. Apparently, he has really long arms to go with his giant hands. Continue.
Please try to control yourself in the presence of visitors, Titus.
Her voice is a bit softer than earlier. Understandable. Continue.
This is just perfect. Just fucking perfect. Any thoughts on this, lawman?
Titus rubs his chin with his palm as if trying to grind it smooth. Maybe she isn't who you thought she was. Maybe she's still in denial, you know, like a defense mechanism. Be straight with me, Titus. What really happened? Wrap this up. I don't get the impression she's in denial, and I don't really want to give him that particular rope to cling to. Maybe she isn't who you thought she was. That seems like it probably is the case, but let's go ahead and suggest it.
Nah, I know her. She's just a girl. In over her head.
He looks upstairs, distracted. Cool, so he's just being completely dismissive of her. Cool. She's not some helpless girl. She handled a mercenary well enough. She's a hardcore party girl with a bigger death wish than mine. Huh, I guess you do know her then. I'm going with number 1 on this one.
Handled him? She got into some stupid shit with that guy. Shit we had to take care of.
Well, she doesn't see it that way. He balks. I've never seen it spelled that way, but he balks. Continue.
Yes. We heard all about it, and the fact still stands. You were more disturbed by the tape than her.
It's true, and that seems very relevant under the circumstances. Like I say, we're skipping number 2. Be straight with me, Titus. What really happened?
I already told you. We fucking hanged him.
He puts his giant face in his hands and sighs. Everything about this man is apparently giant. New task, get the whole story from Titus. Continue.
There's less gusto in his voice now. His men, too, are growing increasingly silent.
True, none of them actually submitted anything in this particular exchange, and that's kind of surprising. Continue.
Come on, Titus. We know you didn't hang him. He was shot. I know you're tired. So am I. Why don't you just...
He taps on his notebook. The fact that he's getting cut off here suggests this is not going to go well. Continue.
You know what? I am tired. I'm tired of you and the whore upstairs.
He gets closer. Cool, well, this is going well. Continue.
Next time you see her, tell her Titus said,
Fuck off!
He throws his beer can down. Great, great. Keeping chill there, Titus. Good going. Continue.
that lying scamming. We're done. This is over. You understand? Your little investigation is over.
That is entirely out of your hands, little man. Continue.
Yeah.
There's a silence in the room. Alain starts saying something, then thinks best not to. Continue.
On the floor, beer drips out of the can into a small puddle. No one does anything about it.
Yeah, not really the time. Continue.
What is this quiet funeral shit? All we need is some beers in us. Bartender, 20 beers for the Dock Workers Union.
He looks around. You're ordering 20 beers at 10:30. Half an hour before, presumably, you're all going to not be here anymore. Sure. Have fun with that. Continue.
Why do we make it 40, huh? Why do we make it 100 beers? You're not loud enough.
The man shouts from behind the counter. I like having Gart aimed at someone who's not me. Continue.
100 beers? Now we're talking. Hoppity hop over here, cafeteria manager.
Glenn livens up. Okay, and now we have a check. Rhetoric, godly, 16. Convinced Titus he is being manipulated. +1 mentioned serial play, +1 strange reaction to bullet, +1 Arthur asked to cooperate, +1 Angus can't take pressure, +1 warmed about the tribunal, +1 discussed Eighth Hardy, +1 confronted about drug trade. It's a rhetoric check. Okay, I'm going to take off now, but only long enough to change my clothing, so don't go nowheres. You just go sit down, huh? There he goes. He's got another beer waiting at the table, aside from the one he apparently threw on the floor. It's understandable. Gotta have backups in these things, you know. Okay, rhetoric. Hang on while I work on my rhetoric. Polo shirt. Check. That's apparently all I've got. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm not getting any minuses, though, right? I'm getting a bonus from thoughts -2. What's the -2 rhetoric from? I don't actually remember. Is that something I'm working on right now? Probably. Ah, one from Cop of the Apocalypse and one from something else, I guess? Let's have a look. Doop-a-doop, doop-a-doop. Oh, there it is. Right, my jaw's still weird. Because of that, you know, polio scarring. Got it. Got it. I'm not sure how it is that forgetting about the fact that I have a weird jaw because of polio would somehow give me my rhetoric back, but apparently it somehow would, and that's fine. Also, I still have Superstar Cop in here. Why do I still have Superstar Cop in here? It lowers my logic. And I'm not going to level up any of these things, am I? I guess suggestion is the one thing I could, if I wanted to make all these checks that involve suggestion, but it's really not a top priority for me, I got to admit. In any case, this seems to be as good as it's going to get. Without... Wait a second. Okay, I heard about something here. I heard from the comments, right, that it's possible to temporarily stop working on a thought in order to stop having the negative from it. And then you just have to pick it up again afterwards? I'm going to quick save, and I'm going to try it. So if I take Cop of the Apocalypse, right, and I stop working on it, what happens? Look at that. It's still 63% complete, and it just sits there and waits for me. That is amazing. All right, so we got extra rhetoric out of that. Now then, Titus.
You again.
It's me again.
What is it?
I didn't even leave, so, you know, I just changed shirts. Nothing weird about that. Look at that, 92% chance. Could still lose, but it's unlikely. Convince Titus he's being manipulated.
Convince Titus he's being manipulated. You should know by now. Titus Hardy will never falter.
You say that, but I did succeed, so where does that put us right now? Continue.
But you know someone who might.
One of his boys will. That's it then, case closed. Look around. We're going home, Kim. These don't seem like the same option. Are these two different ways to deal with this? That's it then, case closed. We're going home, Kim. That doesn't seem like a way to convince him he's being manipulated, but it's one of the options I have for succeeding. I'm not sure how it works. But anyway, one of his boys will, maybe? Who am I thinking of? I mean, I can just click this button and find out. I'm just trying to think if I can approximate who it might be. Alain seems kind of clever, but also, you know, non-cooperative. Well, I guess he's my best guess. This isn't him. That's the weedy guy. That's the ratty guy. This is Alain. Anyway, one of his boys will.
Fat Angus.
Oh.
The powerful guy. Mr. All Muscle. The time has come. Put him in the pressure cooker.
The weak point of the gang. Gotcha. That makes sense. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Continue.
Just remember, it's about more than Glasia. It's about these men and Martinez. Their district. Their responsibility.
Right, makes sense. Continue.
Outside in the evening light, ruined and old, shadows lengthen on the pavement. A distant gunshot.
And now we do. That's it then, case closed. We're going home, Kim. I don't see where we're going with this, but sure, let's start it off.
Huh?
Lieutenant raises his brow.
He'll get it. Go on.
Write it down, Kim. In Martinez, they just kill you because they don't like you.
Got it. Kill you because they don't like you. All because...
He takes out his notebook. Because of some chick, because you're a foreigner, because you work for the wrong people, because they like killing. What did Rhetoric say? It's about these men in Martinez, their district, their responsibility. What angle do we want to go with this? It's not about Claudia, just like my Rhetoric just said. It's... I haven't gotten the impression that it has anything to do with the fact that he's a foreigner, but I could be forgetting some context here. This is the disadvantage of playing this game over the course of weeks/months. Because you work for the wrong people. Which of these is going to actually work, though? I guess probably I can just try at it until until I get it right. Let's go with because you work for the wrong people, I think.
Goddamn right. This is Union Town. You work for the company, we will kill you.
Well, that didn't go like I wanted. Continue.
Fuck, Dennis. We don't kill you if you work for the company. Half the harbor works for the company.
I mean, yeah, there is that. Shanky is just sort of like a little bit unhinged. Continue.
Work for the wrong company, and they execute you.
They just hang you like in the Dark Ages and make a display of your corpse. They just hang you, shoot you, whatever. They can't even remember. They just hang you, shoot you, light you on fire. They don't care. I'm curious what they'll say if I do ramp it up to that point. Light you on fire.
We didn't light him on fire.
You hear the fat man wheeze. He's trying to get up. Continue.
That's it. That's the weak one. You flushed him out. Now go in for the...
I don't like the fact that this is being interrupted. Continue.
Officer, you will be next if you don't shut up.
The old man reaches for his belt, but his voice is strangely calm. Uh-oh. Theo has spoken for the first time since I started talking to these guys. Isn't he the one who I pointed out as I thought being the actual leader, and the reaction was kind of strange? Continue.
Firearm. A Glass 08 or a 38 caliber pistol. Either is small enough for you to have missed.
Clearly. Continue.
He's onto you. He knows what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I do get that impression. Continue.
Steel yourself. Push on. Just ignore Theo.
So says Volition. Turn to Angus. Or what? You're going to kill me like you killed him for no fucking reason? Turn to Theo. What happens if I keep talking? You're going to kill me too in this bar for nothing? Look at Kim first. Volition suggests ignoring Theo. Look at Kim first. It might be a sign of weakness. but we are in this together. Let's see where he's at.
The lieutenant has put down his notebook. His hand is resting on his holster. He gives you an imperceptible nod.
Good, good, good. Continue. He's got my back.
What? What does that mean?
Turn to Angus, then.
We didn't kill him. We didn't even hang him. He was dead when...
Wow, that was easy. He takes a breath, wheezing. Continue.
Shut up, Angus.
He was dead before you hanged him? That thing that I've been saying was true the entire time is true, and you just admitted it?
Fatty! Say one more thing to the cops and I'll...
The little guy hits Angus on the back of the head. A loud slap. Continue.
Dennis, stand down, or I'll beat your head in. Theo, take your hand off the belt. This isn't 31. I've got this under control.
Titus roars the first thing and then points to the old man. Do you, though, Titus? I feel like it just got wildly out of your control. Thank goodness. Continue.
Does he? His closed fist is shaking. It's you who's in control.
For the moment.
Let them have their moment.
Sure, as long as I'm not getting shot. I didn't put on my anti-bullet vest after all. Whoops. Continue. The room falls quiet. So quiet you can hear Angus wheeze. Continue.
Angie, where's your goddamn inhaler? You sound like you're dying.
Kinda does. Continue.
I left it home. I can't get it. I'm too fucked. I'm sorry.
He grabs his chest. Is he gonna be okay? Do I need to... Are we gonna need to continue?
Why are you so fucking fat, Angus? Now it's all pointless. Because of you. You wasted my time. I told you, Titus. I told you just give her up.
The 8th Hardy. Lizzie snaps at him and then turns to Titus. Does it do that last bit? Okay, okay. Huh. Well, she sure lost her temper. Understandable under the circumstances, I guess. Still, bit mean. Continue.
Lizzie, your help is no longer needed here. Go tell Everard.
He turns to the fixer. Great. Just go tell him at 11 o'clock at night. I'm sure it's fine. Continue.
Fine. I'll tell him. After a long walk along the coast.
She walks off without looking back. And there goes the lawyer. Okay. Interesting. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Guess we'll find out. Continue.
You're in. He's all yours. Questions.
I'm sorry I made you guys fight. Whisper Kim, we did it. So you didn't kill him. He was already dead. So who killed the merc then? Any leads? Whose idea was it to hang him anyway? Hers? Okay, so the first thing is a sorry cop thing, and also completely counteractive to counter. It counters everything we've done here. I am not sorry I made them fight. I was attempting to make them fight, and it worked. Celebratory session with Kim, it might be a bit premature, but every time I've had an opportunity to do this in the past, I've taken it. So let's do this one.
The lieutenant gives a smile only you can see.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't kill him. He was already dead. Let's start there.
He nods.
Continue.
You hanged the corpse to cover up the real cause of death, the bullet in his head.
As we've been suggesting the entire time. Continue.
Another nod.
Why?
'Cause the girls asked us to. They were in some shit.
The girls. Continue. The girls?
Girls plural. There's another girl. 2 of them. Take note of this. They'll probably say more about her later.
I assume that's true, and I'm also guessing that Kim has already taken a note about this. Continue.
Did she kill him?
Continue.
Cop, I have no idea. The girl says she didn't.
Wow, he's actually cooperating. I kind of wasn't expecting that. What happened Sunday night?
Classier came down. She seemed really out of it. Drugged up, even more than usual. Bug-eyed and gurning, you know?
I don't.
Not
What does
in a
that
fun
mean?
way.
I don't actually know what that word means. Gurning? He points to the stairs. Yes. Okay. Continue.
It looked like she'd redosed after something went down. I've seen that look before. She was scared. I knew someone had died.
How did you know?
I've done this job for 10 years. I've seen it before. It's the politician in the motel room with the dead hooker scenario. Only in reverse.
Right. Continue.
Good analogy, boss.
The rat-faced man snickers. I'm sure your contribution is greatly appreciated, Shanky.
You don't get to talk yet, Shanky.
He points at him.
You're still on the bench. You keep taking it easy, too, Angus.
He turns back to you.
That's okay with the fat man still wheezing there. He couldn't speak if he wanted to.
Yeah, I should probably just give him a minute if he doesn't have his inhaler. Anyway, what happened then?
We went upstairs. Sure as day the Merc was dead. There was a bullet hole through the window. Fucking dirty sheets and bottles everywhere.
He scratches his chin. Right, and that'll be why the window was replaced. Continue.
He means they'd been fucking?
I don't know that that's what he was going for. Continue.
Tibbs patched the window. And the corpse. We hanged.
Tibbs patched the window. Who's Tibbs, the 8th Hardy? If Claudia didn't kill him, why the cover-up? So who killed the Merc then? Any leads? Right. Okay, well, first, Tibbs.
Nah, he's my brother. He's in the window replacement business.
Got it. If Claudia didn't kill him, why the cover-up?
You may have noticed our girl's in some shit of her own.
I didn't notice anything. What kind of shit are we talking about?
That can't show up on police radar kind. There are people after her. From the old world. Where she came from.
Ah, I actually... Did I know that? Don't think I did know that. I knew she had fled her home and had mixed feelings about that, but they were generally positive. Like, things were better for her here than they were there. If someone's coming after her, I guess that makes sense. These people, who are they?
They're powerful. Connected to the moral intern.
Ah.
She's clearly afraid for her life. Says if she showed up in your systems, she'd be ghosted away.
And that's why you tried to cover her up so hard. He looks out the window. Continue.
That's all he knows. That's all she's told him.
Got it. Continue.
And why would you help someone like that? By taking on a murder?
To try and split it amongst his gang, I assume, but continue.
Why would I? I guess we avoid all sorts of runaways and losers here. It's a Martinez thing.
Loyalty. He shrugs. So who killed the Merc then? Any leads?
Not yet. Just some ideas. She says the shot came from outside, behind the window somewhere. So that's a clue.
I suppose that is, but that's a darn good shot. They must have had some kind of... Well, no, we already know it's a rifle. We already know what the murder weapon is. Someone managed to take a shot outside of the window and shoot this guy in the roof of his mouth. Directly into the brain. That's a good shot. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking someone's past caught up with them. Either hers or his.
That does seem like a reasonable guess. Continue.
Hers, you mean?
No, he doesn't, I don't think, Kim.
I mean the people after Claudia. Maybe the shot missed. Maybe it was meant for her.
Maybe, but like I say, that was a shot into the roof of the mouth and into the brain. That seems intentional, but I guess it doesn't have to be. Could have been a coincidence. Anyway, yes, the only reason I said that, Kim meant hers, you mean Claudia. Yes, rather than hers, you mean hers rather than hers. You may, either you get where I'm going with this or not. It doesn't matter. I misunderstood. Continue.
I like that. Been thinking the same thing myself.
The young guy nods. And you had ideas about his past, too?
My dude. One of those mercenary buddies of his could have done it.
Really?
They got guns.
Well, yes.
Training. Years of bad blood, probably.
Maybe.
Or it could have been someone else from Crenell.
He pauses to think. I mean, it's a possibility, I guess. Continue.
Tell you what I'd do. Check out the coast for vantage points. Maybe consult with a ballistics buddy of mine. That's what I'd do. If I wasn't too busy doing this clown dance with you.
I mean, you've been sitting in the bar for 3 full days, not doing any of that, but fair enough, Titus. If it was one of the other mercenaries... then they would be doing this... Like, that's a pretty heartless setup for what is to come here, if their plan follows through. But it's not impossible. Continue.
He's calm now. Threw all that turmoil away and became himself again.
Seems like it, yeah. The clown dance line suggests that. So whose idea was it to hang him anyway? Hers?
In a manner of speaking.
Really?
Remember the two girls? He may be talking about the other one.
Possible. Earlier you said the girls asked for your help. Was this the other girl?
That's right. It was her idea to hang him. I liked it for political reasons.
Right.
It sent a good message.
He blinks. It's her, isn't it? The drug trafficker, the missing 8th Hardy.
Fella, you think too much. He's off all right. You're gonna hurt your head.
The big guy steps towards you. The way that line was read, it sounds like he actually had concern for me, but I wonder if he's actually threatening me right now. Continue?
That woman is just affiliated with the Hardy Boys. You don't know her, anyway.
Oh, he's trying to throw me off the trail of the 8th Hardy. You know it's okay for there to be a Hardy girl, Titus. Understood. Can you tell me anything about her? Name, current location? You're going to stonewall me if I ask more about her, aren't you? Let's start off with the Hardy girl concept. My word's not working tonight, sorry.
We're Hardy Boys, and that's it.
His face sets like concrete. He shakes his head solemnly. Okay, fine. Apparently there are no Hardy girls. Have it your way, Titus. Sure, but can you tell me anything about this affiliate? Name, current location. Do I even ask? He's not going to tell me, but do I just want to assume that he's not going to tell me? I kind of assume he's not going to tell me, but let's not take that approach just yet.
Nope. You're not getting to her. It's Klasia you want to talk to.
He says, well, that's a presumption on your part. I want to talk to everybody. Okay. I could at this point apologize for making you guys fight, since we've already discussed all the stuff and you have been very cooperative. So I guess I'm sorry?
Me too.
Yeah. Thank you for this, Titus. I'll go talk to her for the last time. Conclude.
You do that. Hey, cop. Before you go.
He grabs his beer and swirls it in his hand, then thinks of something. Didn't you throw your beer on the ground? Did you actually pick it up? Are you drinking it again? I know, he probably just has another one. Oh, right, the 20/40/100 beers. Never mind. Continue.
Suddenly, the wind picks up outside. You hear it rattling the large windows in their frames. It carries newspapers, circles the whirling in rags in a warm column.
Ominous. Continue.
She, Klasia, came to Martinez to hide. Many of us did. This is where you wash up when there's nowhere left to go. The Union takes you in. Now, she refused that protection, but...
He looks up. But you would still prefer if we didn't take her away? Goodbye, Titus. We can just leave in the middle of his thought. Seems a bit of a dick move. You would still prefer we didn't take her away?
That's right. If we didn't take care of the people who end up here, this place would just be a couple of ruins and some cargo containers.
Fair point, Titus. Continue.
We'll take that into account.
The lieutenant slides his notebook into his coat pocket. He turns to leave. Okay. It's 22:59. Klasia will be out smoking on the balcony for exactly 1 more minute. If I go up there and talk to her right now, she'll probably still be there. And she might be locked into it until such time as our conversation is over, which means this is my last chance to do it. Let's see if I can make it. If I can't, we'll do it tomorrow, and that's fine. But it would seem to make sense to take care of this all at once. As far as I know, there's nothing that we're going to do that's going to cause time to pass until we get there. So, this should be fine, I think. I probably can change out of my rhetoric shirt, right? Probably. Sure. Do I have a shirt that's more appropriate to finishing this up? No, I don't think so. I think this is fine. Okay. All right. Let's get out there. One last time. Hi. It's us again. How's your night going? Are you still convinced it's morning?
It's always good to see you.
She cracks a weary smile, leaning back against the railing. I'm not sure that's true, but I guess that's the point. Continue.
Something in her demeanor has changed. She's tired, consigned to her fate, to being here with you and what's to come.
I can't actually unlock this through skill points like I said I would, because I don't have an empty volition point. The Hardy Boys told us what really happened.
I understand.
She puts her coffee mug on the table. Continue.
Just like that. No resistance. Her shoulders are slouched, her feet long and straight.
You don't look surprised. You were expecting this. You sent us on a runaround. You lied to us, miss. Chill. I'm the cool cop, remember? I'm going with this one.
I knew there was a chance you'd get them to tell you. It's what you do. You're the police.
We are that. Continue.
For what it's worth, I'm sorry for wasting your time.
She winces. Continue.
This is good. Clear the air first, between you two. Then move on to questions.
Makes sense. Continue.
Is it? Something is off here.
Is it? What you got, Volition? What are you thinking? You're not going to tell me. Something's off. Okay. Is there another layer to this? Have I not actually gotten to the center of it? There's something else. Something else she knows, maybe. Continue.
Shush. I can't hear what she's saying.
Well, that's a first. I know my brain factions are often in opposition, but I don't think they've actually been actively arguing. Or shushed, I suppose. Continue.
If you knew we would find out eventually, why did you waste our time?
Just in case we didn't care enough to continue pursuing it and would let it go. I suppose that's what she was hoping for. Continue.
Because of the Hardys. I couldn't just dispense with them. They were only trying to help me. Out of the shit I'd gotten into.
She looks at her feet. That's not a good enough reason. Cool. I'm satisfied with this explanation. Does it matter what I say in this circumstance? Because on the one hand, I definitely understand it. It's a loyalty thing. It goes both ways. She didn't want to throw them under the bus. She didn't want... Well, no, that's just the thing. If she had wanted to have the Hardys... If she wanted to help the Hardys, she could have just lied to us. I mean, she did, but she didn't lie to us about the thing that the Hardys wanted her to lie to us about, you know? But it was technically obstruction of an active police case, so I guess that's why I'm satisfied with this explanation option is all sort of like, nah, I don't care. It's not really a good enough reason, is it?
You're right. There's more.
More?
You answer to the coalition government, and by extension, the moral intern.
Who have people who are after you. She reaches for a new cigarette. Right. Hardy mentioned that.
Briefly glancing over her shoulder to the sea, as she's done time and time again.
Watching for boats. Watching for people coming for her. Continue.
A grand expanse of water reaches over the bay and to the horizon, wine dark in the evening light.
What lies beyond it?
The Pearl, the Muindi Isola, the Occident, and then Oranje, the old world.
Is that why you're looking over your shoulder? You're afraid of the moral intern? What's the RCM's involvement with the moral intern got to do with this? The RCM isn't the lapdog of the moral intern. You don't have to worry. Let's go with the one where I noticed it. Her behavior. Is that why you're looking over your shoulder?
You share a database with them. You send people to their courts.
She nods and lights the cigarette. What's going on? What did you do?
Just business. But bad business for some people in the moral intern. If I show up in your records, officer, they will find me. They will...
They will?
What happens if they do?
Continue.
They will kill me, sir. If you file my name, take me in for questioning, enter me into the moral intern mill.
It's a death sentence. Continue.
Well, then I'm fucked. For nothing. This murder didn't have anything to do with me.
There's a wince and a pained little smile. What did you do to have these people after you? What happened here the night he died? Why did you call the cops if you're hiding? When was the window changed? Point to it. All of this is important. Let's start at the beginning. What did you do to have these people after you?
It's not nice. But it's not illegal. Not here in Ravishol. Or even in Orania.
What is it, though? Continue.
What exactly did you do?
Continue.
Industrial espionage.
Oh.
I joined a business collective with the intention of betraying them. I did my job well enough to be asked to do it again.
Gotcha. And someone took issue with that to such an extreme extent that they're willing to wipe you out just because you did it. Continue.
With a bigger company. The kind you really, really don't fuck with. I took their ledgers. 2 decades worth of accounting.
You must be good at this. Continue.
I need the names of the companies involved and who hired you.
He taps on his notebook. I doubt we're getting that, Kim, but I guess we'll see.
The job was Lou's-Duin County Savings Bank. They sound small, but they're part of the Lou-Scop conglomerate.
Mm-hmm.
That was the second job. The first was some printer company. You wouldn't know them.
You might be surprised at my encyclopedia skill, but, you're probably right. Continue.
As to who hired me for the job, I don't know. But they're after me too. Along with Lou-Scop and their friends in the MI. Once you're done in the competitive intelligence circuit, you don't have allies. You're radioactive.
Seems like it. She breathes out heavily. Okay, continue.
Lowe's Cap. These people engineer financial disasters in second world countries. The conglomerate also includes the Bank of Consecration, Airberg, and the popular Papalolo line of dairy products.
And my brain has helpfully come up with the option of saying Papalolo. I'm sure there are people who have done much worse than that. Serves them right. When I am king, this savings bank will be first against the wall. You're right, this is bad. You've destroyed what people have built. That's a lot of shit you've gotten yourself into. I kind of have to say Papalolo, don't I? It's completely inappropriate. But Encyclopedia spoke up, so I gotta say Papalolo.
Yeah. Papa fucking Lolo wants to kill me.
She smiles. I am sure there are people who have done much worse than that. In fact, probably people in Lou-Scop have done much worse than that. But that doesn't change the fact that they're going to try to kill her if they get the opportunity. I'm not saying number 2 because I don't know the full story here. I don't know if there's any point in trying to downplay it. This is so standoffish. I mean, it should be standoffish, though, right? What can we really do to help her? We cannot put her into our report. Let's start with this. I'm sure there are people out there who have done much worse than that.
Sure. I'm not a war criminal, but it was bad. People lost their jobs. Good people, too, not just C-suite.
She shakes her head at the thought. I suppose that's probably true. Continue.
A lot of people got hurt. But that's just more of my shit you shouldn't have to deal with. You're solving a murder.
It's true. She concludes this. We're back in the main menu. What happened here the night he died?
We were there. Together. In bed, I mean.
She points to the window. The silhouette of the bed is visible. Tell me exactly what happened.
Okay. He was in a kneeling position. He had just entered me. I was on my back, looking at him. I heard the window behind me shatter, and I turned to look. There was a hole in the glass.
She takes a deep breath. Wait. How is this possible? If he was over you, with his back facing the window, how could they have possibly shot him in the roof of the mouth and into his brain? Did it go through the skin at the back of his neck? That would have been visible. That's impossible. Continue.
I turned back to him. His eyes were looking through me, and his mouth was open. Dumb. I could see. I could.
She breathes out, a moment's silence. Continue.
Her chest rises and falls with each word. She keeps herself together and says it.
Continue.
I knew he was dead. Before he fell down on top of me.
Then what happened, or you don't have to continue if you don't want to. We do need to know the rest of the story. This is the merciful option. But we kind of need her to continue, so I don't know if there's a point in saying it when I don't necessarily mean it. Then what happened?
He was heavy. I pushed him off and he fell to the floor. There. He only had his boots on. I bit the pillow, not to scream, then ran downstairs.
She points through the window. There's a long pause. She just stands there, her arms at her sides.
I waited for the second shot to come. For me. I thought there would be one. It never came.
Continue.
She's forgotten about her cigarette. The butt has burned right down to her fingernails.
Your cigarette, miss. I'm sorry this has happened to you. Are you sure you're not making this up? Shake your head. That's a motherfucker. Just nod. We're going to need more details. Your cigarette. First and foremost, don't burn your fingers.
Oh.
She looks at it and quickly tosses the bus aside. Interestingly, choosing that has taken away the option to ask for more details. I'm sorry this happened to you.
So am I.
She immediately proceeds to light another one. Continue.
What time was this? When did it happen? It would help us if you could be as precise as possible.
It would. Continue.
11:30 to 12:15. I don't know the exact time. Around midnight.
We're kind of approaching that time frame right now. Continue.
It's okay. Were you inebriated?
He makes a note. Continue.
Not as much as usual. He'd done a line, plus other things. I was drinking.
Continue.
Wait. Titus said she was gurning her jaw off, much more than usual.
He did, and that did cross my mind when she said that. Titus said you look pretty high. It doesn't matter. Better not to mention it. It's not helpful, but it is possibly relevant, and I'm already worried about the fact that this doesn't make sense. He can't have been shot through the back into the roof of his mouth because there was no hole in the back of his neck. This doesn't add up. Titus did say you look pretty high. Now, Titus is Titus, but he was actually cooperating for once, and so I'm inclined to believe him to whatever extent this is possible. I also probably should look up what gurning means. Hang on. A gurn is a distorted facial expression and a verb to describe the action. A typical gurn involves projecting the lower jaw as far forward and up as possible and covering the upper lip with the lower lip. Okay. That doesn't seem like the kind of face you'd make just from the trauma of having someone die over you. I better bring it up.
Oh, yeah. I did one of his lines, just to clear my head.
She tilts her head. So either she had actually forgotten or she's still not telling us the full truth. Continue.
Did you hear or see the shooter in the course of this?
Continue.
No.
What did you do then?
Nothing. I was trapped. I was stuck in my room downstairs. I got some clothes on and crawled back up, drew the blinds. Blood was coming from his mouth. Not a lot. Just a little.
It would make sense if he was bleeding from the mouth. He was shot in the brain. Through a hole in his mouth. When I was stuck in my room downstairs. What do you mean by that? Oh, right, we're up on the roof here. They were in this They were in this bedroom over here, and she had gone back downstairs into her room. Okay, got it. Right, continue.
He was still on the floor, slouched. I couldn't be there with him anymore. So I ran down and out of my room, into the hallway, down the stairs. I knew there would be people there.
Wait, this is connected to her room. Anyway, I understand now. Right. What happened after you ran downstairs? When it happened, did you hear a gunshot? Did you kill Lely? Could the people after you have killed him? Why did you call the cops if you're hiding? When was the window changed? Point to it. Okay. What happened after you ran downstairs?
Sylvie was tending the bar. A lot of people were there. The Hardys were at the table in front of the stage. I think the Union box was full.
She looks down. Continue.
Ruby was there too. they were having such a good time. I sat down and they all welcomed me. I didn't even have to say anything. Ruby knew something was wrong.
Ruby, that will be the lady driver, won't it? She pauses. Continue.
Ruby?
Yeah, I know reaction speed. I'm with you. Before we continue, who is Ruby?
Ruby. You know, the leader.
The leader. Continue.
The leader? Of what?
Continue.
The Hardy Boys.
She says as if it's self-evident. I thought Hardy was the leader of the Hardy Boys.
Well, nominally, yes. Ruby's the one they go to when things happen, like things they need taken care of. She's the organizer.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And it also makes sense then that Titus would not be willing to admit that she's a member of the gang because it's not so simple as that she leads them. They answer to her. She doesn't want to be associated with them, particularly not to the police. Continue.
Would you say she is the 8th Hardy Boy?
He looks at you, me. Continue.
Why not?
Okay, let's go on. What then?
Well, Ruby said let's talk upstairs. I showed her the room. I've known these people since December. They know my situation, that I can't leave a paper trail. Ruby was the first one I told.
Makes sense. Continue.
She said she'd take care of this. It's what she does, you know, take care of things. I helped her get the body to the bathroom. We used a belt to pull him up under the shower, to keep him upright.
Okay, continue.
To mislead you, they were tampering with the body.
They were, yes. Continue.
To produce lividity, matching a hanging?
Yeah, continue.
Yes.
Ruby's plan, just like Titus mentioned. Continue.
We completely missed the tampering. Looks like you got there in time. What was this, 20 minutes after death?
Gotta have been. Continue.
About 20, yes. Ruby explained it would make the blood... You know what he does.
She looks at the ground, then raises her light brown eyes to meet yours. Then what did you do?
Ruby went outside to talk to Titus and the boys. I was just looking at Lely in the bathroom. I had to put his clothes back on. His armor, too. It was tough, but I've seen him take it off and put it on many times.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Continue.
It took Ruby maybe half an hour to come back with Titus. I'd gotten him ready by then. They carried him out. I knew what they were going to do. Make it look like a hanging. Ruby said they would.
What did you do while they were hanging him?
Ruby said to wait here. She also said I wouldn't see her for a while. That we should lay low or something. So I did.
This Ruby. Where is this Ruby now? I don't know if you're going to tell me, but I got to at least try.
I don't know. I haven't seen her since.
Make Titus give up Ruby's location. New task. Great. Titus is going to love talking to me some more. Continue.
We will need to take this question to the Hardy Boys.
We apparently will. Continue.
Interesting. Why did this Ruby go through so much trouble to hide something someone else did? Look into this later.
Yeah, this does seem important, but I'm guessing we have to talk to Ruby before we'll know anything about that. When it happened, did you hear a gunshot?
When he was shot?
She thinks.
I may have. I don't know. I couldn't hear anything over the glass exploding.
Continue.
The gunshot wasn't that loud. This is something to keep in mind when assessing the distance of the shot.
Certainly is. I do not get the impression that she killed Lely, but I do get the impression that she's still not necessarily telling us everything. Because of the gunshot entry point. It was inside his mouth. It doesn't make sense. But I'm not sure I'm ready to accuse her of killing him on this point. Could the people after you have killed him?
That's the first thing that went through my head when I heard the glass break.
And?
I thought they'd found me. They've killed him to punish me. All last week, I've tried not to talk to anyone or be seen with anyone.
Aside from me on Monday, she looks at her cigarette. Continue.
So they wouldn't be hurt. I've come to understand, however, this is paranoia. What happened didn't have anything to do with me.
But maybe it did. It probably didn't. Either way, something to consider. Going with the third option on this one.
We can't go after Loose Cap. Not yet. There are other, saner leads.
No doubt. Continue.
I don't ask you to, Lieutenant. If there's one thing I know, it's that you'll get nothing from there.
Presumably, yes. Why did you call the cops if you're hiding?
Because I'm an idiot.
The answer comes fast. Apparently she regrets it. Continue.
Which is an indicator of truth.
Yeah, continue.
Idiot. She's nothing of the sort.
So you would have us believe, but you're not. I don't think so. Why did you do it? I'm not going to disagree with you. I think I'm going with number one on this one. It would be helpful to her if we assumed that she was stupid and that's why she did it. I don't think she is.
You have to understand, the people around here, no one was making the call, and he kept rotting. And then they picked his clothes off, and that little fucker threw stones at him.
Kuno, continue.
Her jaw is clenched. Her throat moves. It takes all her strength not to cave in and sob. Once. Just one time.
Continue.
He kept throwing stones at him for 3 days. I could hear the thud. Thud. So I called you. I hope with all my heart it's not the last thing I do in Ravishol.
She shakes her head. Well, I guess I'm glad I got the body down as soon as I did. Even if I did go on a bender first. Sorry about that. Continue.
She definitely called the cops. That was task complete. It could not have been a lie. That is impossible.
That does appear to be the case. When was the window changed?
Last week. Angus and Titus's brother, I think he's called Tibbs, took care of it.
She takes a drag. Continue.
You should have another look at that window after this. Reconstruct the scene. It's right there.
In her bedroom? Inside? Not now. Let's do it.
Yes, you see the glass sparkling out of the corner of your eye.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to not do this right now. I think we're done here for now. Conclude. The fact that it says conclude suggests I may not be able to get back in here. I do feel like I need to ask. You know, it's one of those things, right? It's like cop dramas, detective dramas. There's always like the moment where you ask the person, did you do it? Just to be sure, like to look them in the eye and thingy, you know. It's a cop trope, I know. And it's insensitive to even bring it up, is the thing. Clearly if she killed him, it was not on purpose. But everything in her story seems to be indicating that she did not. She doesn't want him dead at the very least. Do we just ask? Oh, I don't know if this is as important as I'm making it out to be. Everything in the story she just told us suggests that she didn't. But again, it bothers me. He was shot in the mouth. I don't think she did. But I don't know that she's telling us the full truth either. Let's just see what she says.
What? Why would I put myself through this insanity? Get myself cornered like this?
She gathers the last vestiges of her strength. There's a silence. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry.
He wouldn't have died if it weren't for me. I know that. But I would never hurt him.
The wind picks up. Continue.
He was a serviceman. He must have had a gun lying around, close to her hand. A military weapon using jacketed ammunition.
Continue.
Now you guys suddenly have theories pouring out, when they're obviously just stabs in the dark.
Downstairs, people have this crazy idea that you killed him. It's okay if you did it in self-defense. He must have had a weapon nearby. Did you use that? Okay, I'd like you to answer some other questions, miss. They're obviously just stabs in the dark. I don't think it's relevant that people downstairs think she killed him. Of course they do. They have no other thing that they can assume. I'm going to leave this alone. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it.
Like what?
She waits, her light brown eyes wandering over the floor, over your face. I think we're done here.
She nods, silently. She doesn't even smoke. Just picks up the cold coffee and holds it in her hands.
Continue. Lieutenant glances at you, then at the door. Continue.
He's thinking, are we done here? Or...
Continue.
Or maybe you should take her to the station for safekeeping. She lied to you, and she's a flight risk.
But that would be a death sentence, as mentioned. Continue.
No, that won't be necessary. Just leave her alone. She's been through enough. She doesn't need this police brutality.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Drama Brain, for once. Continue.
Multiface, I'm beginning to doubt your judgment. Are you sure you're not sleeping on the post? You have to wake this one up, with force, if you want to continue pushing her.
What? Multiface? Multiface? What? Drama Legendary 14, in God's name, wake up. I still can't unlock the volition check. I would have thought that would have been somewhere in there, but apparently not. I need to talk to you about your room again. I don't think I do. The love that did him in. I can do better on Drama. I can wear outfits that drama me up real good, but like, is there something else in the room? Is there something else? Let's find out.
Yeah?
No, there isn't.
All right.
Let's return to this later then. She's taking a long pensive drag of her astramenthal, by the way. Let's return to this later. What do we got? What is it? What do you want?
As you look back, you think, so love did do him in, after all.
Seems like it. I was right. Discard thought. I was right.
If it weren't for her, he would not have been there. The shot would not have connected with his soft palate.
It killed him. Look at Klausja. What is communism in this? Finish thought. Where are we going with this? It killed him. Look at Klausja.
No. Communism killed him. Remember? Love made it possible. You know this much.
What is communism in this?
You do not know. A wind of needles. Airships flutter in the stratosphere.
How do I know all this, then?
Who knows? It's getting cold out. You should go.
I guess. Finish thought. All right. What do I have for drama close? Hang on. I know we're already at the point where I should be stopping. We're not. We're not stopping. I'm going to finish this interaction. She's been through enough out of me. Do we really do the Party Dragon Silk Robe? We might have to. I don't think I have another drama thing on that in that slot. But not. This may be a bit overkill. Oh! I've got this. I've got this. Wow, this is sure an outfit I've got going here. Is there anything else for drama? I think that's probably everything, right? That's everything. Okay. Wow, that's a look. Okay. All right. Klausja?
I was just thinking, what a nice evening it is for taking part in a murder investigation.
So what does this mean? Drama Legendary 14. In God's name, wake up. It's not in quotes, so I'm not saying it out loud. What is this? I guess we find out.
Who? What? Dear God, you've been lied to. She could have killed her lover and lied to everyone. She's not candid at all. She's smoke and mirrors and will-o-wisps.
Is this a check I didn't want to succeed? Did I make a mistake? Continue.
She probably didn't give you her real name either. Why would she? Arrest her immediately before she further entangles you in her web of lies.
Drama, I don't know what to think about this. Turn to the lieutenant. Kim, why have we not arrested her yet? Devil woman. You know, I think you didn't make that call to station. Your real name isn't Klaus Jamandu. What if I told you you're under arrest, miss? Let's change the subject for the time being. This is... What is this? Hang on. Why am I... Of course, the log of text from before isn't here anymore. The multi-face thing. I still don't understand it. We haven't arrested her because it would be a death sentence. She said that herself. Now, she may have been lying, but I have no reason to doubt it at the moment, aside from that she's... Aside from the bullet wound in the soft palate. It mentioned that specifically, but it didn't mention how it would be so unlikely to shoot him through the back of the head, through in the soft palate, with the no wound on the back of the... All of these... I don't want to suggest we're going to arrest her, because we're not. I don't think she is a devil woman. I know this is a drama thing, so we're probably lying to get her... It did specifically say, in order to press her further. This is just like the sandwich. Why am I doing it? Didn't make the call to the station, or didn't give us her real name. I do get this distinct impression that I should back out now before I do anything horrible, but I'm only going to get an earful if I do that, so... Let's try the name the name angle. Your real name isn't Klaus Jamandu. Let's see what happens. Question mark?
I agree. You wouldn't give us your real name, not when people are after you.
The lieutenant turns to her. Continue.
Okay.
Her voice cracks suddenly, like there's a garrote around her neck. Okay, what? We don't need to do this. Back off. Okay, what?
Okay, it's not.
You admit to it. I knew it. Good, you can tell me the truth. Can she? I kind of need her to.
You log your work every week. It's all transmitted to Common, sir. I couldn't just beg you not to enter my name. So I lied.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, honestly. Continue.
Like I lied before. Like I did at LCSB. I have to lie all the time. I'm so tired of it.
She looks at her hands. The fingernails are chipped white. I'm sure you are. Continue.
She's not lying now. She really is very tired. Her metabolism is failing her. The afterglow of whatever narcotics she's been taking is wearing off.
Tell me your real name? Enough, conclude. Why do I want her real name so bad? What relevance does her real name have? The only thing I can think of is if we would need it to put it into our report, and if we do that, she's dead by her own claim. The fact that it's giving me an option to conclude without asking for it. Is it enough? Was I just pushing her to make her admit that she's been lying to us? Is that genuinely all I'm doing here? Is the only thing I can get out of her real name? I don't understand what I'm doing here. I don't understand. There was a white check, so I did it. That's really not good enough reason, is it? If I ask for her real name, is it a death sentence? Is that what I'm deciding here? It's not a back off option. I had the option to back off before I got to this point. I don't think it's a good idea for her to give us her real name. Genuinely, I don't think that's a good idea. In which case, I'm not sure why I took this option. I'm going to conclude.
She nods, her back straight, ready for whatever is next.
We're back to this menu. You know, I think you didn't make that call to the station. Do I think that? Do I think that?
I did.
She takes a step forward.
What is this? I called your desk or whatever it is. The numbers are all over town. Call 8-100-2 for emergencies.
Continue.
There was an older woman on the other end. It sounded like she was smoking. She took my complaint. She coughed.
Is that who would actually be taking calls at the station? Continue.
That is the emergencies desk number.
Got it. Thank you, Encyclopedia. Continue.
Anyone could know that, sire, by looking around and calling the desk. I don't believe a single word she says.
I mean, I get that impression drama, but I'm not sure why we're quite this adamant on it. Continue.
What time did you make the call?
Continue.
Thursday night. It was late, sometime after 12.
Sure. Continue.
It checks out.
The lieutenant nods in your direction. Anyone could know the number, and that someone coughed, it means nothing. Why am I... Because we're trying to badger her for more information, but I'm not sure that this is going anywhere meaningful. I'm genuinely not sure that this is worthwhile in any regard. What does my task list say? Is it count as done? It was early on I got that task. Find out. Look at all this. Look at all these tasks. Is it cylinder active? No, it's not. It's not. It's no longer an active task. My task list thinks that it's complete. Then why are we questioning her so much? This feels like a false lead, although I did get $2 going down this particular path. Okay, sure, anyone could know the number. What's my point? Let's find out.
But I know the time of the call, too.
He breathes in.
I know I have not been 100% truthful with you, officers. But I am now.
Okay. Let's just change the subject for the time being.
She slowly lights another cigarette and steadies her breath, as if in the presence of some tiger.
And who can really blame her? Continue.
You are. This is not the end of this.
Let's get back to those lies you told. Great. Let's return to this later. Okay. I'm just going to step in here and look at the window real quick. I need to put on some gear that's going to get me good at visual calculus rather than drama. I don't know what's gotten into me tonight. I don't know what this is. Give me a second. Visual calculus. Hang on. Okay. I think that's as good as we're getting. +2. Okay. The window.
This window is pristine on the inside, unlike the one next to it. Light from the desk lamp reflects off the glass in an untarnished golden halo.
What happened here? You've heard what happened. I have. That probably does help. Do it.
Golden light melts away into the blue, glassy darkness of your mind. In it are two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman on the single bed.
What position are they in?
Like the witness said, the man is kneeling. The woman is on her back. It's the night of March 4th, and a shot has just been fired.
He's facing the window. He's facing the window. My entire protest is meaningless. He's facing the window. Continue.
The man looks directly at the woman. The shot's possible directions converge in his mouth. A ray cast from somewhere outside, entering his brain.
Continue.
Ending him.
Yes. Where does it come from?
From the roof outside. Location A prime. The glass fractures around the bullet hole. Shards face inwards like a corona behind the woman's back.
Inspect the ghostly figures. Have a look at point A, the roof. Ghostly figures first, I guess.
The man does not know the bullet has entered his brain. He never will. Death comes faster than the realization.
Have a look at point A then, the roof.
The ray cast from the man's mouth unravels into a fan of possible directions, all on the roof at first. The shot could have come from any of them. This is composite location A prime, most likely of the origin points.
Shouldn't there be gun residue outside? So I'm what, 80% sure the roof is where the shot was made from? Gun residue.
There could have been. Then the rain and slush and wind washed it away. This was more than a week ago.
Fair point. So 80% sure?
72%, with an antique weapon that fires military-grade ammunition. A Belmagrave rifle, for example. This is a good short distance, but not too short. The perpetrator aimed with their back against the railing, or possibly kneeling for precision. This would explain why it only took them one shot.
It'd have to be a very good shot, yes, continue.
The lights were on in here. Outside it was dark. It was like shooting fish in an aquarium. A well-lit aquarium. The victim opened his mouth to let the bullet in. Neither of them would have seen anything outside, in the darkness. Too busy with their own bodies.
Seems the case. Could the shot have come from inside the room, a closer point? Are there any arguments against A prime the roof? Could there have been another point of origin further away? Start from the top. Inside the room?
Point X would contradict the woman's testimony, rendering the entire proposition void. These figures would be wiped out, Detective.
Fair point. Are there any arguments against A prime the roof?
None that you've found thus far, but that doesn't mean there aren't any.
I still want to look at that window downstairs. Could there have been another point of origin further away?
That's a 28%, yes. In this model, the shot could have come from a greater distance. Nothing excludes the possibility. Should we extrapolate to include every possible point of origin in Martinez?
I mean, that's what we're here for, isn't it? Extrapolate the radius to include all of Martinez. Could be a very good weapon, you don't know. I think it's just that rifle, but maybe maybe it was modified. Maybe the person was just an incredibly good shot. Extrapolate.
According to your map of the district, this shot could have come from a wide angle of locations, starting with the northern edge of the abandoned boardwalk, ending with an islet in the bay. Let's call them B prime.
More precisely?
B prime for boardwalk, B double prime for Land's End, and B triple prime for the islet, Detective. There may be smaller points in between, but those are too fine to zoom in on.
I see. The boardwalk where I found the dead man earlier. Land's End, which is where that final trap was. And the islet, isn't that where there's that nexus of darkness where I can't actually access right now? Given how this sort of thing works, it's probably going to be that one, isn't it? Tell me about the boardwalk.
700 meters away. The likeliest of these B positions, 20% chance. A skilled sniper could have made the shot, provided he had a safe sniper's nest. Even with the light on inside, we're talking military training. At that distance, the perpetrator would have had to take wind direction into account.
Presumably, yes. Land's End, then.
1.2 kilometers away, the least likely of these positions. Let's say 3%. A truly skilled sniper could have done it, possibly from a tent. No, too far-fetched.
So probably not. Have a look at the islet, then.
1 kilometer away, an unlikely point of origin. Beyond the docks somewhere, on an islet in the Bay of Martinez, perhaps. There are islets there, badly charted as they may be.
So I don't really know. Continue.
The shot would have been a small miracle, 5% likelihood. There is an extremely narrow field of view from the bay to the window, between Rue de Saint-Ghislain 10 and 33A. The angle would have been extreme, and access to the islets is questionable.
But if it was coming from the roof, she should have heard the shot. Kim, do you think the shot could have come from further than the roof in Martinez?
From where, precisely?
Let's say B prime the boardwalk, B double prime Land's End, B triple prime the islet. Why did I pronounce it the other way all of a sudden?
I see you have given this a lot of thought.
He remarks.
Are those the locations you've singled out in addition to the roof? And what is the likelihood, in your opinion, that it came from a further distance?
It's okay. Much less than from the roof, but still, I'm just being thorough. Go with the second one on this one.
Okay, well, we should see if there is gunshot residue or sniper nests if we go down the coast. Rule these spots out one by one.
Right, but we can't access the islet, Kim. That's a real big problem. Continue.
It would be the diligent thing to do. Until then, personally, I'm going with the roof version. A simple hypothesis can be wrong, but it's something to build on.
I guess you have a point. All right, blink for now. Leave. Okay. Okay. I think, if I remember correctly, the volition check to look her in the eyes is no longer there. I don't know if that means that it is mutually exclusive with the go hyper drama and press her on her lies option, or if it just would have given me an opportunity to do the go hyper drama version on her. I don't know. I kind of have only regrets about going hyper drama on her and pressing her like that, but here we are. I am curious. Is she still out there if I go back outside? It is past 11. She should be gone, theoretically. She's gone. So this interaction is over. In fact, I have no idea where she is. She could just be in her room downstairs. I'm not sure, but either way, this day is basically over at this point. I could probably stop by the pawn shop, but I think everything else is going to be closed. In fact, the pawn shop might be closed too. In any case, we're done here for today. I have very mixed feelings about how this all went down, and I very much want to look at the window downstairs, but not right now. We're going to stop for right now. So, thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time.